Hey, howdy, we're recording. How's it going, guys? My name's Tyler, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the podcast to where we answer questions and we just have a discussion. How are you doing today? As everybody does, I scroll through TikTok and Instagram, and I came across, again, Gary Vee, so let's just talk about Gary Vee again on the podcast, and he had a question regarding how to work hard without burning out. And I don't know if I actually mentioned my experience with burnout, but there's been situations to where there'd be times to where I worked on my content and it was getting to the point of being very monotonous and fatiguing, to where I'd record, then immediately edit and just go about editing, and so I used to have been so passionate about editing and posting, but recently in that terms, I ended up becoming burnt out for a brief moment, because I did this while working a 50-hour week. So in hindsight, that was probably not good. I was probably getting fatigued very quickly, and that was unhealthy. But now I think I'm in a situation to where if I were to record, it would really have to be during the weekdays, the weekends that I don't have work. So, case in point, I think I can manage editing now if I spent most of my energy on recording on my days off. So I have a day off on Saturday and Sunday, and those are going to be pretty busy days, because at the time of recording, I have a birthday tomorrow for Hot Pot, and I have a birthday on Saturday for hiking, and then later I'll have to drop off and pick up Joanna for her birthday bash that she has to be a part of. So there's a whole lot of things, but if I were to stream on Saturday or Sunday, those are the best times for me, because it's another kind of tax. It hits differently when you are doing everything of the recording and then the editing right away. I feel like I might have a better chance or better experience at editing if I were to have some space from the recording process, because I spent my entire energy to just record and stream on Twitch or YouTube, and then for me to just edit right away, that's taxing. That's two kind of energies that you just kind of move out on. So I think if I post a long form video, I think that's because I don't think it'll perform well in short form. I think it'll do better in a video that's under a couple hours, or under 40 minutes, or under 40, 90, something like that. It's almost the kind of economy that we're living in, so that's a bit of a thing. So I think I will do that the next time I stream. When I stream this weekend, I think I don't know if I'll just make a big fat video about the game, or if I'll just record it and then make 40-minute digestible bites regarding it. So that's something I'll decide when the weekend comes. But again, me editing videos depends on my schedule. So I'm doing this. The whole point is that I'm trying to juggle my energies and time to avoid burnout. And one of the huge things was that Gary mentioned, nobody really works hard unless they really like it. You can be the least academically successful student, but you can go for hours in sports or your after school club. Like Gary Vaynerchuk mentioned, and I think mentioned that to where he was a DNF student, but he was really passionate with the whole business behind selling wine, collecting items, from collecting baseball cards to collecting wine. He does that talk conversations, and I think I can understand that conversation, because I kind of made it a habit to where I was good in school, and I think I did better, and I think I did well in school to a certain point. I remember getting an average of A and B's up until junior year or senior year, but then around that time I actually was curbing into wanting to exercise more. So I started to excel at exercising. I started to excel in playing games because that's who I was back then. I got into a situation where I really loved who I was when I was exercising. I loved who I was when I was in the video game. The sense of accomplishment in video games and exercise has so much more meaning than academics would ever have done for me. So I was actually kind of, I can't explain why, but between high school and college, my grades were fluctuating because I was starting to really dislike the process because I didn't love the process of studying. I was going to school for the time because my mom wanted me to go to school to get my associates that can be transferred to UW so that I can get a secure job. And I understand that. It really burnt me out going to school, even to right now, because there are people who can still go to school in this day and age, but my problem is that I don't actually know what I can go into school for. Because I can think about going to school logically. I can think about, if I want to increase or better my employment, I could technically go to school to get a certificate that can get me more pay at work. Like, I can be an MA. I can go to PIMA and work my schooling and dedicate 9 months in a program while working nights. I can technically do that. But I'm in a place in my life to where I don't have the time to do that. If I had this job when I was younger and then decided to do that, juggling those ideas is a lot easier when I'm younger because I'm in a place where my time is much more valuable as I'm turning 30, 40, and 50. And trying to do all that now might just be burnout because after now currently juggle a 40 to 50 hour week of work plus spending time on myself. And I did well on myself to where I took care of some cable management and behind the computer, and I took care of this whole shelf thing with the supports, and I like that I did all that. I have a sense of accomplishment from doing that. I didn't get burnt out from just physical labor because there was an immediate response to my synopsis to where I did good. I did this thing, physical labor. It was worth it. My effort showed fruit. And sometimes I might need that immediate response, but I don't get burnt out from doing a lot of physical activity. I do get burnt out when there's no sense of accomplishment, and that's what happens to a lot of people. Because you can never do too much of what you love, and you have to love the process of doing what you love. Loving the process of doing what you love is the key. So if you love making music, you have to love the process of failing certain notes. You have to be kind of like that Christmas guy to where he synchronizes the lights to the music to where da 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 fuck da 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 fuck and again, that's a whole entire bit to where that guy who does that Christmas lights, he had to have loved it in order to really enjoy and complete that process. Because I can imagine I can't imagine myself doing that and not be burnt out by just do that year after year because there's no fruit behind it. But again, you can't love the process of doing what you hate or dislike. So if you hate your job, you're gonna be burnt out of your job because you hate what you're doing. So you have to make the process of your job like more enjoyable. I'm very fortunate that when I work my 50-hour weeks, sometimes I get a chance to see people from work outside of the lab setting and just be a natural human. I sometimes love the opportunity to just turn on my audio in my earbud, my single earbud, and just listen to podcasts or YouTube videos. I was able to catch up on The Arrow, on all the CW shows because of this audio hack. I was able to make work manageable because I had the process of basically watching TV when I'm working, and I had to do it in the corner of my ear because essentially when I grew up, I studied a lot of the times with the TV turned on. So my dad would be turning on the news and watching the news, and I would be studying in the other side of the room. And I got used to the noise. I got used to just like doing monotonous work while things were turned on. But I can't do things silently, so I have to mitigate my ways to not hate the job even more. Because honestly, I don't have any positive feelings about working at nights. I don't have any positive feelings about missing out the daytime because I have a bit of FOMO from working the nights. Because if I'm sleeping throughout the day, I miss out on just life. I miss out on potentially seeing friends during the afternoons, like any normal person would right after work, because I'm possibly sleeping. I may miss out on some things on a Saturday because I just got off work that morning. So I have to struggle with a ZOA or struggle with like things, and I can like just lose myself in that pocket. But I do ultimately believe that if you want to work hard without burnout, you have to make it's kind of like cooking. The whole process of cooking is like the whole process of going to work. You're going to work to go home in some cases, but you're making food to eat it. That's another case. But you have to make it digestible. You have to make work digestible, and you have to make the process of going and being at work digestible. And that could mean scheduling lunches with your coworkers, making food that's enjoyable to have at work. That means a TV show you can have when you're on your break, or YouTube when you're on your break. And so you have to make, in order to work hard without burnouts, you have to make it digestible. You just have to season your schedule with the right products. You have to make time to hydrate. You have to make time to eat well. You have to make time to massage and get yourself in a better state of mind for that activity. So that's a whole thing. The further comments in that short or TikTok for Gary V. Vaynerchuk included a situation where it's also normal to burn out. You can work very hard on what you love, but that'll lose value without proper balance of your social, nutrition, and mental health. So again, working those 50-hour weeks is tough, I'll admit. Sometimes working 8 hours a night, it feels like 10, and then it just exponentiates by adding 2 more hours than what you've already clocked in. But you have to have a perfect balance of your social, of like socializing with other people, of nutrition and mental health, because there was a time to where I did feel burnt out, and feeling of burnout. Let me go to Google, burnout. And burnout is a condition experienced by workers and other professionals in which they develop depression-like symptoms as a result of aspects of their roles. Burnout may manifest as showing signs of physical, mental, or emotional exhaustion as a result of a stress related to their job or activity. And so you have to really balance this, because you are going to fail the more you feel drained. You're going to feel drained if you don't take care of yourself. And so there's been times to where all I do is sleep during the day, and I miss out because I'm just drained. I feel like when I wake up, that's all I think about. So I go to bed to escape everything. And that's just reality of sometimes when I feel burned out. And you have to understand that you have to take your health into your own hands. So if you can't escape those involuntary overtimes, you have to mitigate that with other things. You have to figure out, okay, if I can't get out of this, how do I take care of myself socially, nutritionally, or mentally? And sometimes you have to just do the motions of just social media or just everything around it. And the further comments indicates that actually, yeah, I wrote this note down. When it comes to burnout, you have to coming into burnout and trying to avoid burnout does have to relate to not loving the of you. I'm sorry, of where of loving the process of loving the process of doing what you love, and the difference between purpose and passion is very hard to balance because you may have a higher purpose in this field, or you may be passionate about this thing, but you can't confuse I want to do music, I want to do it because I'm passionate about music, but your purpose might be elsewhere. You might be very passionate about the process of making videos, of just working out, but you can't confuse that with your purpose to where you might have better fulfillment and you might have a better way to avoid burnout by fulfilling your purpose. You can't confuse them both because, case in point, there's a movie called Soul, and I made a note to where in Soul the teacher has had to see that he may be passionate with music, but his purpose came from being a good music teacher about it. So there is a channel called Cinema Therapy to where they talked about the movie Soul, and there's a whole sound clip and bit where his student left a voicemail and is trying to help his teacher out because the student felt he couldn't have gone through school, he couldn't have gone through this without this teacher. And this teacher is so passionate about music. He wants to make his job about music and be paid to do music. But the reality is, sometimes tips can't pay the bills. However, by having the purpose of being a teacher, the purpose of nurturing, of being these guys mentors and getting them fulfilled, you can get happy. You can be happy from your purpose if you know what it is. I am very passionate. I have a huge impact with people sometimes because of my purpose of helping people. I'm sometimes very good at helping people, and that is fulfilling. You have to be very fulfilled with what you're working on without being burnt out because you can't confuse it. Let me see if I can't find any other signs of burnouts. So again, this is a case for mental health. Signs of burnout may include, what is this? What is this button? I ignore that. Hold on. Let me just open up the image so I can actually better read this. Sometimes signs of burnout may include poor performance or lack of interest, isolation, lack of concentration, increased accidents and mistakes, cynicism, irritability, stress, anxiety, depression, forgetfulness, frequent illnesses and headaches, chronic fatigue, difficult sleeping, loss of appetite, high blood pressure. So that is a sample of what job burnout could be, and you have to really get yourself in a healthy situation to just avoid burnout, because again, nobody really works hard unless they really like it, and if you don't like it, you have to season it. You have to take your health into your own hands. It's a lot of PSA, and I'll admit this episode has gone this way and that way so many times that I'm very sorry. But I want to get to the point where I am currently myself working on getting more gas for myself when it comes to work. I'm trying to do my best to make sure that I am capable of avoiding burnout. And it's tough. It's tough. I sometimes feel like I need to stay in bed the entire day, and by being in bed and sleeping, I just miss out. I miss out on life. And if I don't want to miss out on life, I have to work very hard on just being present. I have to work hard on, like, okay, I feel this way. How do I help myself? I need to learn how to medicate myself, medicate my nutrition, my mental health, my social health, by doing things to make it more tolerable, to make work more tolerable, to avoid burnout. But again, that is where I think we'll end the episode for today. Let me know on social media, let me know down in the comments below on what your tips and tricks are with avoiding burnout. I'm working on avoiding burnout myself, and I would like the help. I would like the tips that you can provide. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, my name's Tyler, I'm your friend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.